pretty good.
Oh, we didn't know you were here.
Oh, hello there.
Hello. We're here eating pancakes, talking about our most recent album we just made, Dualities After Dark. We're going to listen to the whole album and talk about it. Stay tuned.
There might be some dog cameos, and there we go. There he is.
Here we are on the first song, Like Thunder, Like Rain.
Good song.
This was like the first one that I think all three of us kind of wrote more together. So Jillian kind of brought it, and then Clifford and I kind of accompanied it without any predetermined kind of ideas, really.
Yeah, and it was the last song that we tracked on the record, right? In total.
It was.
Yeah.
So we were firing pretty hot at this point.
Pretty quick session, actually. I think it was just one session.
Yeah, for the most part.
Yeah.
Did the solos move though to another day, or was that all in one day?
I think we did it all at once.
It was all at once. And you guys, I just hit record and you guys didn't know I was recording. And I took like multiple takes of you guys just like practicing, like trying to find something. And so at the end of the session, I had like 10 different takes of each of you guys. And I went through them and I kind of just picked the best one and threw it together. And then we went back and listened to it and we're like, hey, that's actually really good. Does anything need to change?
Right.
I think we may have like touched up a few parts in like maybe one more session, but that was really it.
Yeah, because I remember we did a couple of I was pretty nitpicky about some of the small bass details. And a couple of interesting things about the song, because what we did come across is the one big change in the song where we decided to do the E linger, mid-song, which really kind of changed the song generally when we all did it. It was hard to perform too, because we always you get so used to like the turn of that theme or whatever that it.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
Is this Stratocaster?
Yeah, I thought it worked pretty good on this song. A little more tinny than the Les Paul.
Right. Also, interestingly enough, we did the on your amplifier. What is it? What is the amp to the little one?
Oh, the Epiphone. What is that? 1965 Epiphone pacemaker.
Right.
Brought to you by your local,
65?
your local Salt Lake consignment store out in Murray, to be exact.
That guy has like a room just full of like vintage.
Really cool stuff.
Let's hear it. Let's hear it on the solo here for a second.
Interestingly enough, this song is like the closest thing I've ever done to a one-take vocal.
Really nice.
Yeah.
Well, then it was pretty cohesive and from all of our ends then.
Yeah, it really just flowed. Nice. Not gonna say like it was just all one take, but it was pretty much one take.
It was one take.
It was pretty much one take. And then the harmonies, it just came together really easily.
One take as well.
Drank some wine one night, sat down in the room, was like, all right, let's do some harmony, and it was actually a lot of fun. This is like the only song on the record that the vocals were like a lot of fun. Yeah. And
well, I remember hearing the textures the first time when you did all the layering. Like it was nice and smooth, and it seemed like very natural. I think overall the song was just generally a little bit more natural to play to. I think in large part because you had so obviously grown as a musician, you know what I mean, in songwriting, it just flowed a little bit naturally, versus like as the basic theme of the record is interpreting the songs you had already written, which is a challenge in and of itself. That this was this is exclusive to the record, this in White Noise, through the White Noise, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm wondering how much dog butt we have in the current shot.
A good amount.
Good amount of dog butt.
Okay, he wants to come up here. Come here.
Yeah, get on up, Banner.
So what do we have here? What song is this?
This is Gravity.
Gravity. This was a song that we played a lot with the full synthesizer setup. Gets played a lot for sure. So it's kind of cool to reinvent it a little bit.
So I guess on this one, I play bass on this song?
I play bass.
Oh yeah, Jillian played bass on this. I just did cellos.
I was the late addition to the song. You guys had this one pretty dialed.
Yeah, actually, Gravity was the first one from this whole album that I kind of tracked out and started experimenting with in terms of like what this album would sound like as a whole, in terms of like textures and reverbs and so this one I think I did a lot of work on just mapping out before we all were like, okay, what else can we add to this?
Yeah, it was cool. I mean, it was a challenge for me because I had to be kind of delicate with it because it was super lush. These cellos, like right here.
Do you know what I love?
Right
I
there.
love how the guitar does like the synth line from the full album, because that's the same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's kind of the goal with this whole album, though, is like retaining the parts of the songs that we wanted to retain, and obviously, they were done via different instruments 90% of the time, so it's kind of cool.
And challenging.
Yes.
And the track he took probably you had worked on it for a bit before, but I mean we really had to chip away at it in between performances.
Yeah.
It was like maybe four months of weekend tracking sessions.
Well, if you remember, we did the cello initially on your electric cello.
Correct.
And then we were like, okay, let's go back and do it again with the real cello because it sounded so different.
These
Right.
pancakes are really good.
It's true.
And blue.
Well, I think, but we had always kind of talked about, we knew we were going to put the cello in and determine what were the good parts of the cello and then record hero parts for them. And I think we had always kind of left it open, but once we heard the actual acoustic cello, there was no question, especially in regards to the throatiness. And this is a good example. This song has, the cello performance is pretty spot on.
Let's listen to this chorus a little bit here. Ooh, I like the way this bridge came together too.
Yeah.
Kind of breaks down right there.
Well, if you remember, I heard you play on the song,
That's right.
this guitar
Oh,
part,
yeah.
and I recorded it on my phone, and this was like totally before we even decided to make the album.
2 years ago or something.
Yeah, and I saved it because I was like, oh my god, that's how you have to play it on this version of the song.
Yeah, this came out nice. That little guitar harmony that kind of worked out between the acoustic and the electric.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that part. These vocals, this last chorus, took me the longest of any of the vocals on the whole record. I just wanted it to sound like, I don't know. I wanted it to sound like the first album, but I wanted it to sound different and better, and it was really hard for me to find what that was.
Yeah, it's interesting that so you had to like reimagine the vocals for this, but we've actually become kind of adept at reimagining songs because of all the member changes, instrument lineup changes,
absolutely.
and so it wasn't unfamiliar to us. It's part of the process,
Yeah, absolutely. I think the challenge was like because the electronic song has like so much like I don't know, it has a lot
It's
to
got some
it.
bite.
And I wanted to like inject that power into my vocal because like the synths were gone. But that was challenging.
Probably I would think was a fairly dense mix, because when we were listening to it, we were actually really, that was the first song that came to shape, you know what I mean, on the record, where we were sitting there going like really the body of the song, like you could hear it, and we elected essentially not do any percussion on it as well because the song was already full.
So what do we got here? Is this Unseen?
This is
Yeah.
Unseen.
Nice. This one was a challenge.
The biggest challenge.
One take though, pretty much.
Not.
Yeah, and looking back, I don't even really remember exactly what was so challenging about it. I just think that maybe you encounter those songs, no matter what, that are just going to require more. Just like where like Thunder Like Rain came so easily and just seemed natural. Everything that we put into this song, we had to claw for. For some reason, it was an adversarial song.
There's kind of, basically forgot, or I made myself kind of forget how to play the full band version and just reconstructed it completely, which I think it turned out well considering. How many? I think all three of us played bass on this song. Is that correct?
I think so. This is the only song where we all touched the bass somewhere.
Yeah.
And
For
for the record, for the commentary, Clifford did all the cello. Rob did the electric guitar. We all played a little bass.
We all
I-
did a little percussion.
We all did a little percussion, but mostly you. And
But everybody
I did
has
all
a
the
shaker
acoustic
somewhere
guitar.
I
in there.
shook some eggs. Yeah.
yeah.
I shook some of my eggs.
Well, and you were pretty sensitive about the pace and the tone of the record. I mean, I think we had a pretty good idea going into it, like how we had to texture it, that the vocals really sensitive. I mean, especially considering that we had already been playing this stuff electronically while we were battling for space. You know what I mean? In this one, we had to be all the body of the music and do it tastefully. And you did a good job, Jillian, of being able to help construct the flow of it and help it so the vocals can breathe throughout the record. Because I actually started to clue on that quite a bit, where I was like,
Is this that cool bridge part?
I think so.
Yeah, that came out kind of good.
And by this time, we had found out the magic of the cymbal washes in order to bring the choruses in, which was, we started to use that quite a bit. So it was a good sound for this.
We get a little spotlight on the cello. I always liked how that part dropped in. It was kind of like that reverse. It mimicked that like reverse feeling.
Right.
This song was always a challenge for us because if you remember when we were playing it with the full setup with the synthesizers and all, it was like a late bloomer. Remember?
But it became one of our best and most feeling songs.
Yeah. Because
You
of this
know,
chorus. Because
And,
of this
it, and
chorus.
it's super dynamic too. I mean, there's a lot of different layers to it and variable progressions. The progressions vary subtly a lot throughout the song. But I remember that too because we were really inspired by the Beatles, like the percussive elements of like trying to get a fair amount of variability. I hammered that pretty hard to try to make sure we maintained a sense of variability, and it was pretty cool. We touched on a lot of different things in that one.
Yeah. Are you guys enjoying these pancakes?
So good. They're vegan.
In fact,
Pancakes.
They are.
we're cruelty free here at the Trough.
All right, here we go. This is Darker in the Morning. This was probably the most fun song to make.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, so for this song, I was like, Clifford had me geeking out on Twin Peaks quite a bit. The TV series. And so I was really just trying to channel that Roadhouse vibe from the guitar on this one.
And this is the only song on this record that was sped up as opposed to slowed down from its original version.
Yeah, and I did the bass on this one, bass and drums. There's not much. There's not that much cello in here, is there?
Yeah, there is.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, I guess it's like
yes.
that drone in the chorus is right.
Communal orange juice, anyone? Yeah, this song was fun to play. I like kind of like discovering the riffs within just the acoustic framework.
So I don't know if you guys remember, but when we were playing New Slang as a cover at some of our acoustic shows, that's when I started thinking, well, maybe Darker could kind of have that kind of vibe.
Right.
We could change it to be a little bit like that.
New Slang inspired.
Yeah,
sure.
and it's funny how you like start with like one inspiration and you think like, oh, you're gonna make it sound like that, and you obviously don't, but like just by like moving in that direction, it kind of like has that influence.
Well, and it allows us all to be able to have some sort of a reference for what it's supposed to be, and I think that, yeah, it was fun. You know, I'm kind of looking
so
back.
fun.
I was always so nervous about the cello that like.
Cello sounds awesome.
Yeah, I know. I was just always so. It's nerve-wracking, you know. But hearing it back, I think we made the right choices.
I have to say, I'm really proud of how this one is engineered, because I didn't know I was gonna be able to mix an album like this. After only doing like electronic stuff, I was like, well, how am I ever gonna mix real instruments? But this song was like, definitely, I feel like it came a long way. Learning how to like space things.
Maybe we should give out some mix and mastering credits too. Maybe this is a good opportunity.
Oh, this is a good opportunity. I mixed the album, and Jason Kale mastered it.
Good opportunity to thank myself. Oh, and this is I got some carte blanche here from Jillian to kind of go off on the ending guitar leads here. Got to layer in a handful of parts, and it was actually really fun to construct this, I guess you call it a solo.
And this is Strat too, right?
Yeah, I played this whole album with the exception of one song was recorded on the Stratocaster, which I've had since the year 2001.
Wow.
2001.
Wow.
Let's hear it. Let's hear it.
Nice mix.
What do we have next?
Nice solo.
So
Tides.
how
Tides.
I know
Tides is the first song. No. Is Tides the first song that we recorded? No, Gravity.
This is the only song with lap steel in it, when originally
That's right.
this album was going to be me mostly playing lap steel.
Right.
But that changed when we started recording things.
And it has, and the lap still is basically only in the song for like in the
30 seconds.
Yeah, 30 seconds of the whole album.
I feel like this is the only song where you can really hear like the whirly organ, when in fact it is in all the songs. You just can't really hear it. It's more like a textural thing. But
Yeah,
you can kind
textural,
of hear it in
for
Tides.
And our Phil Collins drums that we did,
That's right.
produced in our rehearsal space.
All this we did in rehearsal.
Yeah. In between bands playing above us too, remember? Because we had some sessions where metal bands playing in the
Metal
room
bands.
above us.
Yeah.
We would have to cut it short. Yeah. Jungle George.
I think, was this maybe the second song you had done? Because by the time I recorded on this one was also pretty lush in its arrangement.
Yeah.
You were really the finishing touch. Because
On
we
this.
talked quite a bit about that, how because we had spent a fair amount of time with it already, and we knew we had reached the limit because you were going to be able to have a good palette to work with.
There were some cool changes that when I came into the song, I was like, oh, that's different. Specifically on the main kind of verse and chorus, that you like, there's a bass note in there that's really not in the original version, which is cool though.
Yeah. A little happy accident, that one.
Yes. I like how the drums, the percussion really kind of carries the song. It kind of gets off to that like running.
Yeah,
it goes from a walk to a run into this little section right here. Or it's like the train drums. The
Yeah, I know what you mean. It has like, yeah, I don't even know what you mean. It's just like it has a pace to it.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun recording these too. We did it really quick. We did it in a day.
There's
didn't
the
we?
lap steel. There it is, guys. Ooh.
What's the ooh?
Ooh, as in, it's smooth.
It is smooth.
The fallout, did I see coming, or did I force it myself? I'm no stranger to the plunder, watching the tides rolling out. Feels like I'm part of something I can't.
Oh yeah, I was based on this one too.
Yep. Yeah, you were the one who added that bass note.
Well, Jelena and I both are responsible
Yeah,
for
you
that.
both figured it out. Apparently, you didn't even think about it. You just had that thing going.
Well, and we kept running into it because it was a resolution to an issue that we
It
were coming
works.
up
It's
again.
cool.
Yeah, for some reason it was just like that was the only note we could get really to work, right?
It adds some depth to, I can't remember what the chord that is in the song or something, but
Here's the bass note
chord
right here.
tone.
That one.
There it was. Did you get that?
Did you get
It was that one.
Yeah, and I seem to remember I actually was always really, really confident in Tides, and you seemed to be a little bit more nervous about it there at the end.
Yeah.
I always kind of felt like it was pretty robust, but you had a more, I think a more delicate approach to it.
I think because Tides is kind of like it's like not like a sad song, but it has like so much like yearning and so much like, I don't know, more of like a sad vibe that in these arrangements, sad becomes even sadder and like
Right.
happy is even happier.
Is this
So,
is this the final
this
song of the album?
Yeah, this is the last song. This is Through the White Noise.
Through the White Noise. This one was kind of cool. Simple arrangement. A lot of washes and noise and
Yeah, I remember I
delays.
told you to embrace the whale sounds.
Yes, orcas. I spent a season underwater with killer whales, orcas. Yes, humpbacks, sperm whales occasionally, but they're a little more elusive. Understanding their calls and really try to channel that
In
here.
preparation.
Yeah. More of a method guitar player.
Right.
Loneliest night, you are the window that brings the morning light and the silence. So desolate and unkind, you are the sun.
Yeah, talk about delicate. These performances on the vocals too. It's hard to execute.
Oh, this song was super delicate.
Very delicate, yeah.
I was really, I tried quite hard in trying to preserve the simple nature of the song. Like I felt like the song was strong just in its writing and the performance of the vocals. You guys and what you added with the guitar assisted quite a bit. I actually how I was imagining was even more simple initially, but
Yeah.
what you guys did with the guitar is really cool.
The Wurlitzer's in this song, yeah? You can hear it in this one.
Yeah, it's that low bass sound.
Yeah.
It's that, like, I feel like with that instrument, you don't really ever hear it. You just feel it. come
Which
in.
is kind of good, and it's like awesome to have that instrument serve that purpose. Yeah, I felt like you were wanting some feelings of yearning in this song, and I feel like we captured that.
Yeah, I think so
That's the
too,
idea.
absolutely. And I'll say this too. In this album, I learned to be okay with like the raw vocals, and especially like some imperfections, just because like they have that feeling of honesty, and that's really what I was looking for. Whereas like Dualities, everything was perfect in the perfectness. This one is more just like raw emotion.
Well, I think there was a fair amount. I mean, we were sensitive about not sterilizing the song.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like, because you could do that all day long. We could make it digitally perfect, and then you guys, I would always scrub any error I could if I were given the opportunity. But that was something I, really had to kind of face up to in myself. Is you got to be able to trust the performance enough and trust that you can capture it, and not, don't sweat the small stuff.
Did we leave the happy accident in here at the
Yeah.
end? There's
Yeah.
some glitch.
But it works.
Maybe not. Was it there? Did we miss it?
there,
It was
yeah.
there. You didn't
What
even
was
know.
it?
I don't know.
It was like a click.
Well, thank you for tuning in.
Enjoying some pancakes with us.
Pancakes
There
and
you have
commentary.
it. Our own commentary of our album. This has been a production by Banner Productions in the living room.
Ciao.
See you next time.